from a group, at then he was 18 or 19, he's now 21, so it must be, yeah. He says, "Granda, nobody votes now." That's the mindset in his group of people. And I says, but son, they do vote. And I really had to persuade him to say, I says, no, look, because I feel really, I'm really tied into people going out. I don't care who you vote for, but you must go out and use your vote, because there's people all over the world who would love to get a vote and they're denied it. So, but I see it in my grandsons, from that 18 to, 18, 21, 24. No interest whatsoever in politics. They just want to work, earn money, have a car, go on their holidays. The life that we didn't have. And I'm glad to see it. But I'm just thinking, if that's them, what's their children going to be like? So that's a different generation down. So maybe, maybe 4 generations from me here, 3 generations, I'll hardly be here, like. But things will be different. But at the moment, I don't worry about a united Ireland.
So overall,
because I just think it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So we hear something that's generally.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Pardon?
I don't think a united Ireland is going to happen in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
But let's build trust and friendship and respect and confidence. We all want that, and we did have that until this bloody Brexit stuff come about.
So you hear a lot about what were called under the rubric Protestant fears of United Ireland.
Yeah.
Now, one of the big fears was that it was a theocracy. It was a kind of a Catholic state. That's gone.
Yes.
The second was that it was illiberal. That's gone too. It's now with more socially liberal countries.
Yeah.
3, that it was an economic basket case. It now has one of the best economies in Europe.
Yes.
So what are other things that come under the rubric Protestant fears?
Well, one goes back to partition in 1921 and the Civil War in 1922. The expulsion and the murders that took place of Protestants, the businesses that were destroyed, the homes that were burnt. People still remember that because we have still got people from that generation living up here. And that's, I hear them saying, don't repeat the past. Don't repeat the past. That is a big fear that will be carried out again if we were to go into a united Ireland. That somehow that would re-emerge. And, if you look what went on, especially along the border during the conflict, like that can only be described as genocide, ethnic cleansing by fascists. To shoot somebody sitting on a tractor because they owned that land and then go back and say, we were told he was a security force, when they knew rightly he was the only son of 2 elderly people. But that was a policy that they pushed. And people have fear of that's going to re-emerge. And I think it's a valid fear.
I remember that well. I with Ken McGuinness, I've interviewed and visited a number of families along the border who had, just as you said, lost the only son.
Yes.
So they had to sell the land.
Yeah.
The Catholics would buy the land, so the border was being pushed back.
Nobody else would have been allowed to buy the land because they wouldn't have got in, and that's what they've done. And see, when you look at it now, I know the border is supposed to be the other side of, if you're in County Down here, the other side of Newry, but in all reality, the border is 8 miles up the road. So it is.
What does
Because,
that mean? Sorry.
well, I mean, most of the Protestants have left that part of the country and have moved north and left that area. So, you know, if you're driving, do you know Newry at all?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Newry used to be known as the border town, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not really now because, you know, it has pushed out so far. It's basically if you go the other side of Banbridge, which people will tell you, oh, we're at the border now. So it is. Because you see the Irish sign languages, you know, you see the tricolours, you see, you know, it's in your face. So it is. Where once they've gained power in the council, the first thing they do is change the street and road signs. So, you know, I could drive from here 6-7 miles and you would swear you were in the Republic of Ireland, so you would. And that's with every county along the border.
So thank you for your time. I've just got a couple of more questions.
Yes.
And one is legacy issues. They just seem impossible. How do I put it? The past is present all the time.
Yeah.
Events that happened 50 years ago, they're still a legacy issue. It's like as though time itself has collapsed.
Yeah.
Why has it been proven so difficult to deal with these issues comprehensively?
Well, one of the biggest is the failure of the Republic of Ireland government and the United Kingdom government to come clean in their part. I mean, you know, there's plenty of books out there. If you talk to Republicans who were involved in, you know, the 50s, 60s and all, who are still alive, and will clearly tell you about the involvement of the Republic of Ireland government. But also you've got the British government. Legacy is a minefield. We have tried to get across it on many occasions. We've put papers together. You know, the five main armed groups during the conflict was the official IRA, the provisional IRA, the UVF, the UDA, and the Red Hand, and the INLA. And those groups have sat down together and said, how do we move legacy on? We've put papers together, but it has went nowhere. And the legacy, who's going to tell the truth now? If we don't tell it now, Parry, it's like they disappeared. Some of those disappeared will never be found, which is unfortunate, because the people involved in it are not here. And, you know, if you knew, and probably did well know, you know, within Republican and loyalism, you weren't allowed to talk about what you were involved in. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So maybe 2 or 3 people were involved in one thing, and those 3 people are dead. So there's no way of finding out the truth. Somebody can come up with something. So if we don't get legacy done while we're alive, which is a living history, it's not going to be done. And I have a feeling, or we have a feeling, both the British and the Irish government say, sit back, all them bastards are dead, and then we don't need to worry about it. But legacy needs to come in. I agree. I would love to see legacy before I pass away, because I have lots of questions. You know, I lost loved ones, and I want to know why they died. I have friends who lost loved ones. Okay, the HET come out and give us like a sort of closure, but Northern Ireland's a small place, Parry. See, if you want to know, it's not South Africa. South Africa is a massive, massive country of millions and millions of people. So you could do something at one end of South Africa and slip away and nobody even knew you'd done it. That's not like Northern Ireland. If you want to know what happened to your loved one, you can get those answers. They're in courts recordings and because of stuff that's going on dealing with victims and survivors. But the obstacle